When you think of pirates, you think of these pirates, fictional pirates. But in this presentation, you need to forget all of that. In this presentation, we're covering modern day pirates, specifically pirates in Somalia. Piracy, by definition, is any illegal acts of violence or detention or any act of depredation committed for private ends by the crew or the passengers of a private ship or a private aircraft that is committed on the high sea or international water, which is at least 12 nautical miles from the baseline of a coastal state. Modern-day piracy is basically hijacking ships and their crew members to demand ransom payments from companies and state authorities. This is how the pirate networks generate profit that are shared among the pirate leaders, pirate members, and the investors. This research topic will specifically be on piracy in the Gulf of Aden and its transnational organized crime network within Somalia and how it originates, operates, and connects to other transnational crime within Somalia and South Africa. The Gulf of Aden is located between Yemen and Somalia. It serves as a sea link between the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea, which is next to the Suez Canal, one of the most important trading routes in the world. During the peak of piracy in 2008 to 2012, Somalia was in the status of fragile state, where its domestic governance structure collapsed and failed to manage the country and its own people, along with enforcing territorial authority, both domestically and internationally. When the Somali government collapsed, it failed to maintain the maritime territory, and it consequently led to increasing illegal international vessels entering Somali water and draining naval resources from the Somali, destroying Somalia's fishing industry. Being a country that traditionally practices agriculture and pastoralism, the combination of drought and illegal fishing activity in Somalia led to extreme poverty without a way to make a living for the Somalis. This created an opportunity for pirate financiers to take advantage of the poor Somalis, recruiting them into pirate operations, allowing them to develop a more sophisticated network. This is a gateway out of poverty for Somalis who don't have any other options. Some pirates also justify piracy by claiming that they are protecting their own natural resources from foreign vessels. The low-risk, high-reward nature of piracy has lured countless of Somali into this piracy networks. The low presence of maritime security in the Gulf of Aden make hijacking operations easy for the pirates, as they take advantage of small numbers of unarmed crew members aboard the vessels, allowing them to seize the vessel without any resistance. The lack of law enforcement entities also means that the pirates will not be punished when they return back on land in Somalia. Companies are usually prepared to pay the amount of ransom demanded by the pirates, as the payments are relatively small compared to the lives of the crew members and the value of the ship and its cargo, thus encouraging piracy even more, led to increasing ransom amounts throughout 2008 to 2012. And how does pirates operate? Pirates operate by using vessels called motherships to carry all the supplies, so that the pirates can patrol out in the sea for longer periods of time without returning back on land. From these motherships, pirates deploy skiffs or motorboats to hijack and board target vessels, allowing for a wider range and faster operations. Pirates are usually armed with various types of weaponry, including automatic firearms, grenades, and rocket launchers, to damage the vessel's fuel tank and render them defenseless and unable to escape. After successfully hijacking the target vessel, the crew and the passenger on board are taken hostage by the pirates to be demanded ransom from their companies or state authority the crew belong to. As ransom from piracy increased, these operations became formalized in the business model where the pirates are sponsored by the financiers to keep their operation running. Pirates in Somalia have developed from a small-scale operation involving only few individuals into a business model with investors, financiers, and shareholders who sponsor and supply pirates with money and equipment for their further operations. Pirate operations business model can be categorized into three major types. First, artisanal scheme, small-scale operation, and small numbers of financiers. Second, cooperative scheme, the most popular type of pirate scheme, including a bigger scale of operation involving several financiers. And third, individualistic scheme, a pirate operation sponsored by a single financier. After successfully hijacking and being paid their ransom money, the profit is distributed depending on the person's role in the operation. The low-level pirates receive a relatively small amount of payment comparing to the financiers. For example, pirate action groups. Members are paid around 30,000 to 75,000, which is around 0.01 to 0.025% of the average ransom payment. Financiers, on the other hand, receive the amount of profit according to their investment, with financiers receiving around 30 to 75% of the ransom payment. Piracy business model in Somalia became so successful that the operations end up involving even more than the pirates and the financiers. The negotiation between pirates and companies will involve lawyers from both sides writing a contract, accountants and professionals to examine and detect fake ransom money, and translators to assist with the negotiations. And now to the intersectionality of the crimes. The ransom payments can be moved by financial transfer. The main transit points for the financial operations are located in Djibouti, Kenya, and the United Arab Emirates. Pirates are engaged in the criminal activity for money. They went beyond typical robbery, locally executed and funded operations, into a transnational network with flow of funds, operatives, and resources from abroad. Many investigations traced back the trails of the pirates to many different criminal activities like drug trafficking, arms trafficking, money laundering, and human trafficking. Illicit money has proceeded into other activity, both legal and illegal, including smuggled or trafficked human beings or weapons, drugs, alcohol, real estate, and companies. Money laundering. Profit gains from illegal activities are made clean and entered into the legal economy, accounted as the country's economic income. Money can be laundered through direct investments in legitimate businesses. Pirates can invest in various things: retail stores, restaurants, gas stations, to big joint companies located in Europe, Eastern Africa, and Asia. Pirates' financiers have used business routes to move money unnoticed, such as transferring money along with shipped merchandise. It is an easy way to transfer money located from one place to another. Many reports stated that trade-based money laundering is one of the main methods that pirates use to move and launder their money. Another method that the pirate used to launder money is money or value transfer service. About 90% of people in Somalia use online-based tools to handle money transfer service. The services are used to move the proceeds of the pirates in Somalia. However, the money or value transfer service providers in Somalia claim that they are unaware of the illegal monies flowing through their services and stress that they conduct the checks on clients' identities. Next up, terrorism. The illegal financial flow of the pirate activities have overlapped with the Al-Shabaab, which is the terrorist organization in Somalia. There is a possible dependency between Al-Shabaab and the profits of the pirates. For instance, a pirate leader, Sa'is Yulux, has provided funds and arms to fighters involved with Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda in 2012. Another case is through an agreement inherent here, where the pirates paid 20% development tax to Al-Shabaab to prevent any terrorist group from interfering with their operations. There's also a report of growing activity of financiers and pirates in the north of Galkayo. From the official investigation, the network of piracy in the south of Somalia has linked with the insurgent group in the north. Networks are investing heavily on militas and military capacity on land. They are reportedly located in Puntland, where the cooperations between the pirate financiers and Al-Shabaab occurred. While the connection between terrorist organization and Somali piracy seems vague, it has become clear that they are intertwined in business routes and operations activities. Piracy is one of the key actors being used to support terrorism. On to drug trafficking. Money earned from piracy operations are used to invest in drug productions in Africa. For example, khat. Khat or mira is an amphetamine-like stimulant that induces a mild state of euphoria and stimulation. Pirates are willing to pay a higher price for it. They can even pay 3 times higher than the market price, reaching $150 per kilo. The illegal money mostly goes into buying khat. While some pirates buy khat for consumption purposes, some invest in it. Khat trade has also been used as a way to launder the piracy proceeds, as Somalia have full control over the distribution network of khat. With piracy posing itself as a bigger threat to the international community have to come up with ways to combat them, which leads us to the next part. Existing national law and mechanism and international effort. There are 2 main practices. First, deployment of military task force, and second, national and multinational anti-piracy framework. First, let's focus on the deployment of military task forces. Number 1. The European Union Operation Atalanta. The European Union Naval Force Operation Atalanta was established on November 10, 2008. They were active from December 8, 2008 until December 12, 2010. Their main task was to escort vessels under the World Food Program. Number 2. NATO operations. There are 3 of them. First, Operation Allied Provider. They were active from October 24 till December 13, 2008. The aim, like the first one, was to escort vessels from the World Food Program and to combat piracy in general, and was terminated when EU Atalanta was operational. Second NATO operation is Operation Allied Protector. They were active from March 24 to June 29, 2009. Their aim was to deter, defend, and disrupt piracy. And the third and final NATO operation is Operation Ocean Shield. Started in August 17, 2009 and ended in November 24, 2016. It was meant to replace the Operation Allied Protector. Their main task was to combat pirates and also provide assistance for regional countries to help them build coherent pirate fighting forces and capabilities. And the last deployment of military task force is the United States-led Combined Maritime Forces. Their main goal was to conduct integrated and coordinated operations in the Gulf of Aden, the Gulf of Oman, the Arabian Sea, the Arabian Gulf, the Red Sea, and parts of Indian Ocean. The United States-led Combined Maritime Forces consist of 3 combined task forces. First, CTF-150. It is the first multinational forces that meaningfully combated piracy in Somalia. It started from late 2008 and was active until February 22, 2009. They operated under the general mandate of conducting maritime security operations. Second, the CTF-151 started from January 2009. Aimed to specifically combat piracy, it is mission specific with no geographical restriction. and consisting of combined military forces, intelligence, and maritime parole. And the last one is the CTF 152. Moving on to national and multinational counter-piracy framework. First is the Security Council Resolution of 1846, calling states and regional organizations to deter the acts of piracy on the coast of Somalia. Second, the Security Council Resolution 1851, encouraging states and regional organizations to create a Center for Information Coordination. This resulted in the establishment of the Contact Group of Piracy off the coast of Somalia, the Shared Awareness and Deconfliction Group, aka SHADE, and the Maritime Security Center, Horn of Africa, MSCHOA. The Contact Group on Piracy off the coast of Somalia was the result of several meetings during 2009 to 2010, establishing points of contact among states and organizations regarding all aspects of piracy combating efforts, dividing them into groups. Group 1, British-led, Forces on Military Issues. Group 2, Denmark-led, Forces on Legal Issues. Group 3, United States-led, focuses on the relations with shipping industries. And lastly, Group 4, Egypt-led, focused on the communicational issues. And the next framework is the Shared Awareness and Deconfliction Group, as known as SHADE. SHADE was established on December of 2008, consisting of voluntary international military groups that have monthly meetings. The third establishment is the Maritime Security Center, Horn of Africa, as known as MSCHOA. MSCHOA was established by the European Union, establishing Civil Military Coordination Center to safeguard the merchant shipping operation in the region. And the last relevant cooperative framework is the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organization Office in Dubai and the Maritime Liaison Office. They were the point of contact between the merchant vessels and the military liaison. And now, let's explore the strengths and weaknesses of the existing national law and mechanism. First, the one and only strength is that the rate of piracy drops, meaning that the piracy problem was successfully solved. Time for the weaknesses. First, they do not ensure that the captured criminals are successfully prosecuted due to the catch and release practices and legal conflicts between the seizing state and the non-seizing victim state. And the second weakness is that the existing law and the mechanism is exclusively for piracy issues, because armed operations may not work on a more elusive criminal operations. The third and final weakness is that the absence of piracy still does not alleviate or give negative impact on other transnational organized crime in the country. This brings us to the last part. How would we suggest strategies to prevent piracy? To start, I would like to cite a quote from Thomas Bernhard. "A criminal is undoubtedly a poor soul who is punished for his poverty." We believe that the Somali pirates were not inherently bad. They did such crime because of the extreme poverty in their homeland. The best way to end piracy is not only to capture the pirates at sea, but also to restore the political landscape and economy of Somalia. To accurately end piracy in Somalia and somewhere else, we must carefully examine why there is piracy in the first place. According to the Marine Affairs Technical Report, the root causes of piracy are economic, political, and social reasons. The economic root cause is the high profit and low risk nature of piracy, with the relatively high chances of substantial income and the relatively low opportunity cost and economic risk. The political root cause is the existence of corruption within the state and the limited state capacity. And the social root cause is the maritime capacity and tradition in the region. There are three possible solutions to prevent piracy from ever happening again, which are initiating international cooperation in aid and development, reforming the law enforcement and bureaucracy, and creating multilateral joint naval operation. First, it is very important to establish international cooperation in aid and development. Mohammed Rabi A. Yusuf, the representative of Somalia, noted that the lack of economic opportunities in the country was one of the triggers of piracy. Poverty in Somalia was severe. If Somalia can improve its local administration and economy, the people will have job alternatives to piracy. Moreover, international aid in infrastructural development will attract business opportunities and connectivities. Restoring the economy should not be the government's action alone. The international community must help. Secondly, there is an urgent need to reform the bureaucracy. Piracy and other transnational crimes are not something that you can do alone with just criminal gangs. You must do it with the help of some public officials. A transparent regime will help solve this problem. We suggest that there should be a law and mechanism checking the officials' work. International organizations may need to help with the protocols to punish the corrupt officials. Furthermore, Somalia needs to strengthen its criminal justice system. The effectiveness of law enforcement will make crimes look less attractive because of the high opportunity cost. If the political landscape is stable, the public should then focus on new pirate detection technologies. Lastly, to prevent maritime crimes, there should be a joint convention on naval operations. Piracy as a transnational crime requires international cooperation to combat. The Somali criminal justice system is already weak, and the adjacent coastal countries like Liberia and Panama don't want to deal with crimes committed thousands of miles away. The crimes are often avoided by third countries. This is why we propose a joint convention on naval operations. Today, the Security Council renewed for another year its authorization for international naval force to join in fighting piracy off the coast of Somalia, stressing that while the threat of such crime has declined, it still remains a matter of grave concern. Piracy could contribute to the destabilization of coastal community. That's why it is extremely important to actively exercise naval forces and establish a joint convention in the long run. With these three solutions, piracy and maybe other types of crimes can be alleviated in the future. Thank you for watching our presentation. Have a good day.